Hi everybody, I'm Brian, and this is an episode of AAMI News and Conversation during Sterilization Standards Week. And that's something that AAMI does twice a year, but some of our members might not really know what that's all about. They just hear about it, maybe on our news site, maybe from our other members who get very excited about it. So I'm here today with three AAMI staff members who kind of help make Sterilization Standards Week happen and shine. And we're going to talk a little bit about this event and why it's so important. But first, let's do introductions. So we'll go around the table, starting with Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt Williams, Vice President Standards at AAMI.
Hi, Tommy Kim, Director of Standards.
Amanda Benedict, Vice President of Sterilization.
Sure. And Matt, I'm going to start with you again just so we can tee this off. What is Sterilization Standards Week and how is it part of the standards process in general?
Okay, so either fortunately or unfortunately, standards aren't developed overnight, right? So it's a long process. It can take a few months, it can take a few years. So, we'd like to bring the stakeholders in, multiple times a year if we can, or sometimes they're over phone calls as well. But it's important to get the stakeholders in face-to-face, especially post-pandemic, so we can get these standards developed and move it on through the process.
And now this one's focused on sterilization, but there are other events and other meetings that happen at AAMI for other kinds of standards. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, we're focusing just on the sterilization standards and those groups and those stakeholders this week.
Right. And Amanda, that is your court. Why are sterilization standards so important to our community?
Well, let me start by saying that we actually have two groups within sterilization. We have industrial sterilization and we have healthcare sterilization. The industry side focuses a lot on industrial sterilization processes, so those types of modalities that are used in industrial settings. On the healthcare side, they're what we call user-focused documents, so those are typically aimed at processes for sterile processing within healthcare facilities. And it's important in either case that the end users of these documents have really good, thorough, comprehensive guidance that they can use to help lay out how these practices should work.
And if anybody hasn't seen this, it's kind of a spectacle, Sterilization Standards Week, because there's dozens and dozens of people happy to see each other for the first time in a long time. And it's quite a community, right? There's this sense of camaraderie, even though they might be from competing companies, or somebody might be from academia and somebody might be from regulation. Tommy, this is your first time kind of hosting a Sterilization Standards Week. Tell me a little bit about that. How have you gotten to know this community?
Yeah, so yes, it is my first time planning the Sterilization Standards Week. I would say it's been quite an experience, good and bad, just because planning for a huge event, it's a huge undertaking, but serving this community has been so valuable because seeing them in person is just a treat, and this whole community is very engaged, and we are so very appreciative of their time, and it speaks to their character and their dedication to this space, because standards, as we know, touches not just them but patients everywhere. So it's quite an undertaking that they are taking valuable time out of their daily lives to come here for a week to hash it out, to see what the best practices are to include in these standards.
I'll just add, this is an absolutely wonderful community. I'm so thrilled that we've got Tommy working with us now for sterilization standards, and Matt, that you're getting to know the folks this week as well.
Yep.
It's a wonderful, welcoming group. They're all very focused on improving patient safety, and it's just magic that happens in the meetings.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot of work involved. Matt, can you describe a little bit to me of, I guess, what that work is? What exactly is going on at this meeting? You said it's part of the standards process, but what are they doing?
It could be a variety of things. It could be resolving comments that have been sent around, voted on. They're trying to resolve various objections to maybe a proposal. It could be things like approving a new work item, like developing a new work item proposal for the groups to consider, as a new standards item. So it's a little bit of everything, depending on where a specific working group or committee is in the process.
I see. Are there any major highlights that anybody wants to talk about so far? I mean, it is the first day, but has anything jumped out at anyone that's exciting that maybe keep an eye out on AAMI News?
Can I jump in with something
Sure.
really exciting that I heard on my way to the studio? I heard that the new document for ultrasound probe processing, that the working group has finished its work, and that is headed over the finish line now.
Yeah, so that was a major development
That's
in
great.
Sterilization Working Group 84 endoscope reprocessing. So they've been focused on trying to get it just right for a while, and they had some great discussions at this working group meeting, very collegial, and it was very collaborative, and I think the right people were at the table to make this decision.
Tommy, can you tell me a little bit about the community themselves? Who is involved during this week?
According to the interest categories, there's industry stakeholders, user stakeholders, as well as government, regulatory, and I believe that's the three major buckets here. And then predominantly it's more industry and user, and we are always looking to fill out the other categories that we are lacking. So that's, I think, that's where we want to try to invite people to join our committees, and we're always looking for that.
Yeah, and if I can add some color to the industry, it's a lot of medical device manufacturers, contract sterilizers, which is really pretty unique to this community, testing laboratories, and consultants as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, we need a lot of different subject matter experts to kind of help develop these consensus-based documents.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important.
Yeah, and on the user side, we have folks from sterile processing departments. We have people who are involved in the OR, so perioperative nurses and endoscopists, other physicians, academic researchers, and so on. So good diversity of viewpoints, and it really leads us to very reasonably practicable documents at the end.
And so once again, if anybody watching this is saying, oh, hey, that's me, well, you can reach out to standards@aami.org, and we'll get you connected with the right folks. Now, what is normally the spin out of an event like this?
From my perspective, as somebody who's been involved with it for the past 8 years, since I've been at AAMI, it's really great to be able to bring people in twice a year, and a lot of our experts are involved across multiple groups. So we're leveraging their availability, having them in this week, and we can make a lot of progress on in a very short amount of time on several documents. So usually out of these weeks of meetings, you see significant jumps ahead with documents. You see new items being spun up, I think, as Matt alluded to with the new work item proposals, and generally leaps ahead in practice for industry and for the healthcare side.
Fantastic. Now, if anybody watching this is thinking, why haven't I been part of this? What can they do to get involved? Matt, do you want to take that?
Sure, I can take it. Just need to let us know. They can email myself, they can email Tommy, or anybody here at AAMI, standards@aami.org. That's our general email address. So anybody interested in participating in any of our standards activities, not just the sterilization work, please email us, because we're always looking for new folks.
Yeah, and let me also add, we're also looking for new ideas as well. So
yes.
if there's a gap that our community sees, that there's not good guidance or standard to address it, please let us know. We would love to consider that, and maybe it becomes a new work item proposal and gets under development in the Sterilization Standards Committee or its working groups.
Thank you so much, everybody, again, for speaking with me today, kind of explaining this crazy event twice a year that always seems to get so many members of AAMI excited to be here. It's looking to be a really good week, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.